Hello, my name is Alex Mustard and I'm an underwater stills photographer, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the equipment I'm using. First of all, cameras. These are the two main camera bodies that I'm using most of the time at the moment. Both full-frame Nikon SLRs. This is a Nikon D5, but the camera I'm using mostly actually these days is a Nikon D850. These are my two D850 bodies that I'm shooting with most of the time. Those cameras go inside housings. This is the housing for the Nikon D5. Both my housings made by Strobe, which are a small company in Austria that makes specialist handmade housings for SLR cameras. That's the Nikon D5 housing. The D850 housing. You can see very similar. They take the same ports. Both of these at the moment have got 230mm, so 9-inch dome ports on. But I have a whole range of optics that I use on them. Perhaps the coolest accessories I use on those are the large dome ports I use for split level photography. This is my travel big dome port for split level photography. And if you think that one is big, which it is, you should see the one that is the non-travel version. This is the really huge one that only gets to go out in the UK. But it's an absolutely huge dome port for shooting split level photos. In rough conditions. Really cool to use though, and the whole housing floats really nicely when it's all weighted up using this. I'm also a really big user of water contact lenses and ports on my system. But one of the ones I use probably the most is this one. This is Nauticam's WACP1 wide angle corrector port. Very good optics, very flexible underwater, really nice to use, not so huge and big for travel. Another big favorite of mine is this lens. This is a Nikonos RS 13mm fisheye. This is another water contact, so designed to work only underwater, so it has superior optics to anything behind a dome. Fisheye lens made by Nikon for the old Nikonos RS camera, which is on my bookshelf somewhere as a bookend. But this lens, you can convert it to work with modern cameras and gives excellent underwater performance. And then the final water contact optic that's worth talking about is this, which is my Carl Zeiss Ivanov corrector port, which is another this was made by Zeiss in the 70s to be used with Hasselblad medium format cameras, and I've adapted it to be able to use it with a modern SLR, and I've had a lot of success with this, and this is a really purely rectilinear approach, so it gives really interesting point of view. I also shoot macro with my camera, and this is my favorite macro port. It's made by Saga. It's super light, brilliant for travel. And lovely and tapered, comes down to a 67mm filter at the front, so you can screw on wet diopters and that sort of thing underwater. Really great little macro port, so obviously I've used this all the time as well. And the final piece of the puzzle in terms of big equipment are the strobes, and I use 3 brands of strobe currently. The main one that I'm using is CCAM 150 Pro strobes. Really powerful, really reliable, really excellent strobes. They're my main wide angle strobes. I also use Retra's Pro strobes. Actually got the same watt second output as that big CCAM, but runs on AA batteries and is a good, very capable strobe. And then its predecessor, the original Retro Flash, I also really like using, and still really value these strobes and use them a lot. So those are the three main strobes that I'm using. I hope that gives you a nice insight into my underwater photo gear. Obviously those are just the big pieces. There's tons and tons of accessories, but running through those would be here all night.